Okay, apple pancakes. Right, first off you're going to need an apple and you're going to need something to grate it with. You're going to need a couple of eggs, 2 eggs that is, and you're going to need 150 ml or 5 fluid ounces of milk. You're going to need half a cup of either British self-raising flour or half a cup of all-purpose flour with about 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda in it. You're going to need 2 tablespoons of caster sugar to go with this, and you're also going to need a little pinch of salt. You need a large jug, put everything in goes the flour, and in goes the baking soda if you're using it. I'm actually using British self-raising flour, which has already got everything mixed into it, and just a little pinch of salt, and in there goes put all the dry ingredients in first, 2 tablespoons of sugar. This is a golden caster sugar, it's the one I prefer to use. And what I do is I like to mix that dry stuff while it's there, so that's in already. And then the next thing that goes in, the wet ingredients, and I'll come back to show you that in a minute. Okay, wet ingredients. So we've got the milk. Into the milk goes your 2 eggs, 1 eggy weggy, and that's 2 eggy weggies. And what you want to do is you want to get a decent stir on that. Another thing you can add at this stage, if you like, is just a little bit of vanilla. Vanilla flavouring, vanilla essence, but use the good quality stuff. I personally don't want to, and some people put green colouring in, and I don't like doing that either. I like to let the ingredients speak for themselves. So you whisk that up nicely, and the next thing we'll do is grate the apple and add it all to the bowl. Okay, we've got the apple grated up nicely, and we've got everything ready to go. I'm just going to pour this into the bowl. So the driest ingredients going first. Don't worry about the juice, don't squeeze the juice out of the apple, just leave the apple as it is, juice and all, because we want that flavouring in there. And give that a mix around, get it starting to mix up. Then you slowly add in this. And then you get it to a nice batter. It's basically just either an American pancake batter, and it's kind of interchangeable, or you get a pancake mix and you grate apple into it. But it's a very similar recipe. In fact, it's almost identical to the recipe for Scottish scones. So we end up with a nice batter. And I like to, at this stage, I like to give it a treatment with a wooden spoon and whip in some air into it. So let's do that. I'm making a right mess with this, there you go. And then what I do is I just whisk that around with a spoon. Okay, I've got my pancake pan or tava up to the heat. Put a little bit of oil in, use a paper towel just to spread it around on the non-stick surface, and then what we do is we get a load of batter in there, a little bit more perhaps, and then run it around. We know how to make pancakes, and just let that run around the pan. And it's as simple as this, we just turn that into a whole stack of pancakes. Okay, I've got a tool with a fairly sharp edge and it works on non-stick pans, and what I do is I just run it around like that, round the edge, just to make sure that it's lifting. And then I bring along my other tool, which is my pancake flipper, and then I just flip that on there and tap it down, make sure it's cooking. And we don't need to leave it long on the second side, it doesn't take long at all. But this is how we do pancakes in the United Kingdom. The only difference is that we don't normally use baking soda in our pancakes in England, but they do in Scotland. So this is a hybrid recipe between the two, and that's what I'm all about. I'm all about adapt. And then we transfer that to there, and we start with our next one. So that's it in the plate, and I'll come back to you once I've finished the rest off. Okay, just a couple of little pointers here. Is when we cook this off, you'll just see bubbles start to form on the surface, and you'll notice it finishing off around the edges before it does in the middle. You really want that sort of slightly more yellow colour to happen in the middle before you think about flipping it. But you can, in the meantime and at this point, start loosening it around the edges. So I just go in. Sorry, I'm right-handed, but I'm limited by the shape of my kitchen, sorry. But what I do is I go in, just loosen it a bit around the edges like that, and then loosen it a bit more and a bit more until I can get the whole thing up, and then I flip it as before. Okay, that's just to show you on the underside of them. You see the apples starting to show through. We didn't peel the apples, and we deliberately, because we wanted some of that green, some of the flavour to come through. So there you are, that's them done on both sides. Okay, now for the next and the last one. Okay, just to finish this last one off. And there, superb, all done. Pancakes, apple pancakes. What I'll do is I'll quickly dress them up and serve them. You can serve them with ice cream or cream. In our case, I'm going to serve them up with a bit of cream. There we have it. Beautiful apple pancakes. I folded them over into little quadrants and just covered them with a dollop of cream. Also nice served with ice cream. Maybe a little fruit on the side, but I can assure you my brother's going to tuck into that and really enjoy it now. Thanks for watching.